Today we're exploring my vegetarian side with a fusion dish. We're doing a spicy chickpea curry with potatoes. Next to that will be a fragrant jasmine rice, and that will be cooled down with a cucumber salad. We're going to make this kitchen a spicy food spot. My name is Devon Vincent Bryan. I work for Residential Life and Housing. However, when I'm not in my office, I can be found in a market or a kitchen. I enjoy making dishes that are smart, simple, and shareable. Together, I know that we can turn your kitchen into a food spot. The Food Spot is sponsored in part by Big Y, a world-class market. Curry is in my blood. Being Jamaican, I grew up with it, and so that is the inspiration for today's dish. But every now and then, I like to take the meat out. So curry chicken and curry goat is really tasty. We're gonna curry chickpeas, and that all begins with preparation, a process we call mise en place. We get everything in order, so when we cook, it cooks right through. Let's begin. I have first up a white onion, which we're gonna break down. It took me a really long time to figure out the concept of mise en place, and I think for most people it's what slows them down in the kitchen. We don't know what we need until we remember that we need it right before we put it in the pot. But most chefs, not that I'm a chef, believe that preparation's the most effective way of getting everything done at once. This doesn't need to be a fancy chop, it's all gonna get cooked down. We just wanna make sure that it's bite-sized and that when we do put it in our pot, so that's roughly half an onion. I'm gonna move that into our serving bowl. This is a chickpea and potato curry. So next up is our potato. I have a potato peeler. I don't find it to be the most efficient when I have a knife. So my trick has just been to top and bottom a potato. We cut it in half. You always want to make sure you move your potatoes so that it's the most stable. So peeling on an angle is rather dangerous. So we're going to turn it over and find the edge of the potato and just peel through that edge. Once you find your rhythm, it goes a little faster, but this is a rather sharp knife, so I'm going to spend some time with it. Cut that in half, into thirds, and again into thirds. I'm going to break down the other 3 potatoes, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we finished up our potatoes. We've cut them into bite sizes, and then I'm going to run some cold water over them. We do that to keep the potato from oxidizing. Air plus potato equals brown potato. And no one really wants to eat that. It doesn't change the texture or the taste, but it does affect the look. Let's face it, eating is mostly what we see. So we finished up our potatoes, we're going to move on to the spicy stuff, the jalapeno. And here's the secret behind a good jalapeno. They should be firm to the touch and not mushy. And most of the heat comes from the center, from the ribs and the seeds. So I'm going to open it up, show what that looks like, and then remove most of the seeds, because we don't need it to be so spicy. We still have hot curry and some pepper seeds to add after this. That's spicy. I want to show you how I'm removing the veins here. I'm making a V cut. I'm cutting down, and then from the other angle, and then that should allow me to cut my ribs right out. This is the part you want to be mindful about where you put your hands, particularly near your eyes. This is really spicy stuff, folks. We talked about control before. Placing the potato down so it doesn't roll across your cutting board, giving you more control over your knife. And the same rule applies here. I'm going to push our jalapeno down and make long cuts. You like it spicy? Leave it all in. I don't like it that spicy. Bring it all together and make a chop. And that's it. That's our jalapenos. Now let's take a closer look at our spices. Garam masala is a traditional Indian spice. It not only ranges in composition from region to region, but also home to home. What's most familiar in garam masala are warm herbs, clove and cinnamon. While the composition may change, overall it gives a round, rich flavor to most Indian dishes. Second up is our curry, specifically Jamaican curry. And I like it because it's among the curry, the turmeric is also a bit of spice, so this also adds another layer of heat. And lastly, our cumin. When most people think of Indian food, that smell, it's most often not cumin. We're going to add each of these to hot oil to get them really opened up before we add any of our other ingredients. So these are our 3 major spices for today's chickpea curry. Join me by the stove. Okay, so we have a hot pan going. And I like to use a cast iron skillet because it retains a lot of heat. And a lot of this recipe calls for high cooking very quickly. So to our hot pan, I'm going to add some oil. This is vegetable oil, nothing special. And I'm going to go back to those 3 spices I spoke of. Smells so good. I'm going to add our cumin. You want to be gentle with the cumin. It opens up really quickly, so there's no rush here. We can always add more as we go. We're going to add our hot curry. And I'm trying to get this just evenly spread across the base of the pan, so that everything has a chance to connect with the oil, the surface of the pan. You know what, we'll just use the entire container, or not. I can already smell it. Then our garam masala, our Indian spice blend. Okay. Add a bit more oil. So right now I'm just letting everything come to warm up. Have those spices open up, start to toast a little bit in the hot oil. It smells good to me. We're gonna add the onions that we chopped earlier. And we're just trying to sweat our onions. We're not browning. We're not trying to create any level of caramelization. We just want them to start to release some of their flavor and some of their liquid into the pot. Also good already. Touch more oil. Just keep everything loose. And how this differs from how my mother per se would do curry chicken is that she would curry the chicken itself. She'd add all these spices and all these onions to the chicken, brown that, and go from there. And how this recipe differs is that we add everything to the beginning, and our protein, our chickpea, gets added at the end. Okay, looks like a good time to add half of our potatoes. And we just need the potato, not the potato water. That's not contained a lot of starch. Not necessary here. The starch that remains in the potato will be enough to thicken this as we move forward. We'll make sure that every bit of potato is coated in our spice blend. See that brown stuff accumulating at the bottom? That's called fog. And that's in and of itself a layer of flavor. So that's the pan's not burning, we're in no danger here. Those are just the spices connecting with the metal and the heat and really beginning to caramelize on their own. I'm going to cover this for 2 minutes, allowing both the onion and the potatoes to come together. And then from there, we'll add our coconut oil, our coconut milk, and our chickpeas. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes, and by the look and smell of things, our potatoes and onions, spices are coming together. I'm now going to add our jalapeno. Again, those were 2 jalapenos seeded and then chopped. I'm gonna add a touch more oil. Again, just to keep things loose. Our chickpeas, or garbanzo beans, they are packed typically in oil or water. These are packed in water, which we don't need. We'll add our own water at the end. This water contains a bit of starch leached out from the beans. We're going to just pour that water off, open our container, and right into our pan. We'll add another can, why not? I'm going to bring our heat up just a bit. I'm going to shake our coconut milk. Coconut milk is basically the flesh of a coconut, grated, chopped, or minced, added to water, and then pulled through. All the solids are removed, and what remains is the coconut milk. We're going to turn our heat up to high, bring this mixture to a boil, and then reduce it to a simmer. Easy to remember, B2B, R2S, bring to boil, reduce to simmer. And while that's cooking, we're going to start on our jasmine rice and cucumber salad. So let's get started on the simplest salad ever. It involves our cucumbers, some cumin, cilantro, our Greek yogurt, and salt and pepper to taste. We're going to begin by just opening up our cucumbers. Top, bottoms, gone. And then we're going to open that up lengthwise. Top, bottom, lengthwise. And I think that's enough cucumbers. I don't know if we need the third. Here's the thing about cucumbers. They contain a lot of water, and most of it is enclosed here. So we're going to take our spoon, we're going to scoop that out. That was 90% of the work. And we're going to chop these, we're going to dice these into half moons. We're going to turn over our cucumbers. Then we work on to our cilantro. Here's the thing about cilantro. Folks either hate it or love it. I happen to both hate it and love it. I love it in a few things. One of them being the salad. The second being a pork dish I do. Come back next time for that recipe. Well, here's how we begin. We're going to shave off just the tops of the cilantro by guiding our knife down the length of the stalk. And then we're going to run our knives right through it, rough chop. When I first designed this recipe, I knew I needed yogurt, and so I bought a large tub of it, and then realized that I don't eat that much yogurt. I added granola, and I had it with, like, in place of ice cream, but what I found is that just a small tub of yogurt will do. Personal size salad makes sense. So I just have a Greek yogurt here. I'm going to start by just putting half of it in and see the consistency. Now I'm going to add our cumin. I never get tired of that. When we season, salt, pepper, anything that's granular, we season from up top to ensure even distribution. When we're close to it, it just falls where we place it, but from above, we get everything. Gonna add some black pepper. Remember, from above. And for now, that's it. We'll add our salt later. We won't add our salt now because salt plus water pulls the liquid out of the cucumber. And we don't want there to be a lot of water in the bottom of this pan. So we're going to place our salad in the refrigerator, and when we're plating, we'll add salt at the last minute. So remember, we're supposed to bring this to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer. That looks like a rapid boil to me. So let's begin seasoning our food. And add a little bit of pepper, seasoning from above. And some salt, kosher salt if possible. Mix these in. Reduce our heat to a simmer. And give this a little taste. Okay. Okay, I see that. Okay. We're gonna get started on our jasmine rice, and then we'll be ready to pull this all together. So we're almost there. The last piece remains, our jasmine rice. I like jasmine rice for a couple of reasons. One, this is an Indian-inspired dish, and jasmine rice is Indian-inspired. We're gonna begin by adding 2 cups of it, roughly, to a pot. I said roughly. I'm going to add enough salt on top of my rice just to cover the top of that. So I'm going to spread my rice into one even layer and then sprinkle from above liberally. A cup and a half. And I'm going to add enough water to do the following. And the level of water from the top of the rice to the first striation on your finger tends to be enough. And then the last ingredient is about a tablespoon of butter. I like to use a stick of butter because they're actually pre-labeled with how much is in each slice. That goes in. If I want to make this even more fragrant, I could add coconut butter. But I'm good for today. I have a lot of coconut going on in my chickpea curry, but that's an option. Near the end of cooking, I'll add a few sprigs of cilantro just to brighten up that rice. But that's it. We go on the stove, and once again, we bring this entire mixture to a boil, and then reduce it to simmer. So this is it. We're almost there. I'm going to shave just a few more pieces of cilantro and add that to our rice. Just at the end, so that the heat picks up and perfumes that rice. I'm gonna add just a little touch of salt to our cucumbers. Remember, we didn't add salt at the beginning because we didn't want all that water to be removed, but we're almost at plating, so we can add that now. Take a final look at our chickpea curry. It has reduced nicely and it smells really good. While I plate up, why don't we check out today's guest spot?
My name is Xavier Pierre-Jerome. I am currently a first semester senior at Clark University. I'm doubly majoring in English and psychology. I have a minor in Spanish. My cooking experience on campus has been kind of limited. I do some things that I brought from home. I cook a Japanese curry that I grew up with, along with some kinpura gobo and some other things. I didn't grow up with pasta, but I've been experimenting with that because it's an easier thing to do. I have, however, had Devon Vincent Bryan, the area coordinator for First Aid and Transfer students, come over and teach a group of students how to cook for an RHA program. And we did some braised short ribs, a whole soy Asian chicken, and a salad I can't remember right now. Out of my time on the food spot, I hope to get some free food. I also hope to learn how to cook more things so that I am able to cook better food for myself, more healthy food for myself, and impress people.
Xavier, this is it. My spicy chickpea curry with jasmine rice. And don't forget the cucumber salad if you'd like to try that. Dig in, let me know what you think.
Thank you, I've been looking forward to it.
I like it. Coconut. Go for another bite, okay. Verdict?
It's very creamy, it's very rich. And it's just the right amount of spiciness.
Yes.
Very flavorful. I'm going to enjoy it.
Until next time, on behalf of my guests, my crew, and myself, happy cooking. And even better, happy eating. Cheers.